If you are a pro-life voter in House District 21B in the state of Minnesota, I have very quick information for you on where your two candidates stand for the Minnesota House of Representatives. I want to make this video short and sweet and give you all of the information. But first, my name is Ben Dorr. I'm the Executive Director for Minnesota Right to Life. And we're going to kick this right off. I'm not going to waste any time. You have two candidates, the Republican and the Democrat. The Republican is your current state representative, Marj Fogelman. Now, I want to tell you from our perspective and from our experience with Representative Fogelman, what we've seen at the Capitol. It's one thing to hear it from a legislator or a politician. It's another to hear from folks like us who are constantly watching what's going on up there and fighting on behalf of unborn babies. So the first thing you need to know about Marj Fogelman is that she filled out her Minnesota Right to Life candidate questionnaire 100%, right? So she answered all the questions from a pro-life, Christian, pro-family perspective, and we appreciate that very much. The next thing you need to know about Marj, and I think more important than anything, is that to our knowledge, Marj Fogelman has a 100% pro-life voting record. Now you might think, wow, she's a Republican. They all do, don't they? No, the answer to that is no. There's a whole bunch of Republican state representatives who've been up there for years and years who voted for taxpayer-funded abortions in the Health and Human Services Omnibus bill that they pass every 2 years. But since Marj Fogelman's been up there, she has voted no on all of them, and she has promised to be a no vote in the future if the bill comes up again. So she has a 100% pro-life voting record. On top of that, she opposes taxpayer-funded abortions. Again, she voted no on this legislation already, which is fantastic news. And then she voted no on House File 1, which was the bill that allows abortion up to the moment of birth for all 9 months. More than that, the bill allows minors, teenagers, to get abortions without there being any requirement whatsoever to tell mom and dad. She voted no on this legislation, as she should. She also voted no on Senate File 2995, which was the bill that removed restrictions from Minnesota Code on abortion. And in particular, this bill made it so that when a baby is born during a botched abortion, instead of having to give it care, life-saving care, which was what was in a Minnesota Code, that was all stripped out. And now babies that are born during botched abortions can be allowed to die. She was an absolute no vote on this legislation. So if you see Marj Fogelman out on the campaign trail, thank her for being 100% pro-life on this issue and for having a good record and for filling out her Minnesota Right to Life candidate questionnaire. And that is why Representative Fogelman gets an A rating from Minnesota Right to Life for her time in office. And we hope she continues to vote pro-life if she makes it back up there in November. Speaking of November, guys, it's coming up fast, November 5th. Get your friends, your family, your neighbors, everybody, head to the polls, vote on behalf of the unborn. Now we're going to jump over to John Wilson, who wants to be your next representative. The problem with John is that he refused to fill out his Minnesota Right to Life candidate questionnaire and tell voters where he stands. So we did our due diligence, we did our research, and just a quick perusal past John Wilson's website will show you that he is proudly in support of abortion up to the moment of birth. Which means if he was up there in 2023, he would have been a yes vote on House File 1. Again, he says it right on his website. He's been very public about his support for killing of the unborn. I don't know how else to say it. And if that's the case, undoubtedly, John would be a yes vote for taxpayer-funded abortions. I think every single Democrat in the Minnesota House voted for that bill, the HHS omnibus bill last time around. I think every single one of them did. So John Wilson would be no different if he makes it up there. And at the end of the day, John Wilson will be an absolute enemy of the unborn at the Capitol. He's made it very clear, makes no bones about it. And so that is why John Wilson gets an F rating from Minnesota Right to Life. Babies deserve a chance to live. We should be supportive of life and supportive of expecting mothers, but pushing people towards Planned Parenthood to have their babies killed in numbers in the thousands and thousands is preposterous. And allowing abortion up to the moment of birth, allowing minors to get abortions, removing all restrictions, it's extreme, it's bizarre, it's wrong. So I'm asking you guys in House District 21B, go to the polls, vote pro-life on November 5th. We'll have more information for you soon.